Welcome, guys. I'm joined by Jawad Akhtar, Ibrahim, Adil, and Awais. We do have some new guests today. We are quite fortunate to have such celebrities in our presence. Thank you very much, guys, for joining today. Can you first just confirm for me, are you able to see the tables on the screen?
Yeah.
All right, fantastic. So I think as we normally made the habit, Jawad, have you raised your hand there, or are you just testing the system? I think
I was just testing system.
all right, not a problem at all. Yeah, for the new guests, it can be it takes a bit of time just getting used to the system, not a problem at all. I think as we've made a noble habit, we will start with talking about the table first, but there is a main point which unfortunately Adil wasn't able to get across because of a fire alarm last time. So I think that's quite important, quite a pivotal thing for not just our leagues, but other indoor leagues, outdoor leagues taking place across England. So Adil, I'll let you take over and please bring up the point regarding the umpiring.
Yeah, sure thing. Thanks, Adnan. Yeah, it's just something I wanted to bring across the last time I was here on the VODCAST. Unfortunately, I didn't get a chance to do that. It was basically the topic of umpiring and how umpiring has occurred, obviously how it's proceeded throughout the tournament so far. I believe about a couple of weeks ago, there was, also a very slight controversial issue in terms of, wicket or, certain wides being given when obviously we have the luxury of looking back on the footage on the YouTube videos, in which case, where we can see clearly if the right decision was made or not. Anyway, the point I'm trying to make is the fact that, look, I feel that the umpiring, it's a very thankless job. It's very rare that umpires are congratulated on their performances, when a game goes very smoothly. And just the element of human error and how, in cricket that we play, obviously we don't play any kind of international standard or test match cricket. A human error is part of the game. And in some ways, it also has a certain element of beauty to it as well, because, sometimes things go in your favor, sometimes they don't. They end up equaling themselves out after a while. But yeah, I feel that the umpires should be given quite a bit of credit, more so than they are currently given now. And I think out of sort of 24, 27 games, however many games have happened now, I think I can only count maybe one or two where very minor issues have occurred. For the other remaining games, they've gone pretty smoothly. So I just like to bring up the fact that
absolutely, you're right. And from the earlier leagues, I just want to bring up 2 points. Firstly, we've incorporated technology into the leg umpire with the camera, so that's led to much less in terms of like arguments of runouts. Everyone gets emotional, even I get emotional. We need to make sure we're not running to the umpires, screaming at them. Give them that privacy, let them talk between each other and make that ultimate decision, right? No one's coming there with the agenda against you. Ultimately, we're our own lads there. Everyone respects other people, so no one's there, we're here just for getting Donald players out. When the committee gets together to decide who's going to be umpiring, they try to make sure the umpires are from different teams. So, we try to be consistent. Even if we're using any reserve players, we try to use players who haven't played for one of the teams that's playing. So thank you, Adil. I think that's well worth mentioning at the start. Now, coming on to the points table, very interesting here, Donald for the first time coming to the top. And, Azahad, unfortunately, he's not with us. He did make a fantastic point in one of the earlier podcasts. Now, just look at Donald in the earlier stages. This is going back in the memory lane now. But if we're looking at, for example, 2018, rank number 5, we're looking at, 2019 rank at the bottom. Now we're looking at, some of the other performances ranked number 4, and look at what they have been able to achieve. Ranked number 1, playoff stages are done. We're into the semi-final and final. Absolutely remarkable. I'm more than pleased to see this. This really shows a progress of a team, that's improved, brought in new players, developed the players that they currently have. And in my personal opinion, they probably have the most powerful squad in terms of balance between batting, bowling, fielding at the moment. So, I just want to get out there. I'm very happy. A lot of the work that's been put in by Jawad, especially. So congratulations on that. Awais, I see you raised your hand there. Please go ahead.
I just want to add on to your point, as you said, that how they've come through so long. You gotta just remember that it's been the same team and same captain. Obviously, they've played in different leagues as well together. So I feel like that's helped them a lot. They've got to know each other. They've run so well between the wickets, and you don't see that amongst other teams. So I feel like they've had this period of time. They've gelled together, and this year they've shown it, and they've proved people wrong.
Yep, definitely. Yes, Jawad, please go ahead.
Yeah, so I've taken the honor of captain Darnell's side for the past 3 seasons, and sometimes we've not had the best of lucks in previous seasons, but obviously, look, I kept the team the same. I brought in new players as well, strengthened my squad, and then, like I said, I just told the boys this season that last year we went out on net run rate, which was a bit unfortunate. Same with Fairvale Falcons, like this year, like they've gone out on net run rate even though they played superbly. So I just told the boys at the start of the season, I was, look, lads, don't take no game lightly, because let's be honest, there were some teams that weren't as strong as other teams. So maybe a lot of teams, I myself, were targeting them teams to get my net run rate up for the team. And I'm sure other teams are doing like yourself, Fairvale Falcons, Fair Park Warriors, Burngreave Tigers. But yeah, I just told the boys, no game, don't take it lightly at all. And alhamdulillah, it paid off at the end, sitting on first. And it feels quite good, to be honest with you.
And, this is something that the teams that we see here at the bottom, Tinsley Thunder, Manor Gladiators, they might not be too pleased with their current performance, and that's understandable. But if they take the advice of what Jawad has done in the previous few years, I still remember when I first saw Jawad, I actually saw him in YMA, and we used to sit on the on the roof behind the play area.
Yeah, I remember.
And I saw him, and I remember speaking with some of the other commentators, who is this guy? He's very energetic, he's running around, he's got an absolute bullet of a throw, and he's a good wicket keeper. Obviously now, he's developed his team, he became a captain of his team, he's done really good things, and I would really love to see teams who are at the bottom at the moment transforming their teams, making the league far more competitive. It shouldn't be one-sided affairs going in the future when you learn from your mistakes and you develop your squad. Now, coming back to the standings, very unfortunate, despite the fantastic performance of Fairvale Falcons against Firth Park Warriors, based on the run rate, quite a close call if you think about it, between Page Hall Panthers and Fairvale Falcons. But yeah, they are unfortunately out, and the top 4 will be going into the semi-finals. I think firstly, an important thing for us to analyze is actually the game of Fairvale Falcons and Firth Park Warriors. And I do already have this up. I think the main person to mention at the start, in terms of the bowling innings anyways, Azahat Salim. Sorry, the volume's up. I think he has really bowled, fantastic. I mean, look at that beautiful Yorker. And I feel like he's someone who has kept the Fairvale team together throughout this tournament by giving consistent performances. Against Burngreave Tigers, he had a very similar performance as well, bowling them out. And that's the kind of passion you want to see in your main strike bowler. I know Jawad is someone who, he does something very similar for his team as well. And when you have a left armer bowling at, good pace that can swing the ball in your team, you should be really grateful for something like this. And even I unfortunately, succumbed to that same kind of delivery as well, not much later. So, really good performance here. I think this is something that Fairvale can take with them going into the next edition of the Cricket Arena tournament. I don't think they should feel disheartened by this. If anything, you should pick up on the points that you missed out on. I think the game against, I think it was, sorry, let me just go back to I think it was against Page Hall. That's the one that, because of that, they probably, I think at that time it was maybe 50-50 that they'll be probably kicked out. I think they were under a lot of pressure, and a lot of people undermined the performance of Page Hall. They looked down on them, and I think that is the wrong approach. Whenever you look down, they underestimate a team, you're going to have bad consequences. And, if you want to look at, just look at this 2017, 2018, look at the squad of Molby Sixers and who they were facing in the finals. but because of their, perhaps some may say their arrogance and ego going into the final, that they have a superior squad. Just look at the scorecard and what happened in the finals. So that's something, for Donald going ahead. Absolutely do not underestimate Page Hall with the kind of talent that they have in the form of Usman, Jawad, bowling, and Nisar as well with his batting. Ibrahim, I see you have your hand raised. Sorry, Adil, you have your hand raised up. Please go ahead.
Yeah, that's fine. I'd just like to interject on something that you just said earlier about the fact that some teams look down upon Page Hall. I think that's a bit harsh. I think what you're trying to say is that I think they don't have as many established players as maybe some of the other teams do. The fact that their bowling isn't as established or their batting isn't really well known. I think at the moment, going forward, the fact that they've made the playoffs themselves, it goes to show that they're a force to be reckoned with. So, by any means, don't take them lightly at all going forward into the semis.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. If I just want to add to that, I'm not taking them lightly by any means. They're an amazing team. Usman's in very good form. I think got 18 against us, got 60 odd the other week. So yeah, like I've told my players as well, we're not taking them lightly by any means necessary. They're a dangerous team. I mean, you guys can all probably agree with me on this. Jawad Salim, probably the hardest bowler to face indoor. I mean, you just don't know which way he's spinning it, and it's coming at such a pace as well. It's practically impossible just to even just showing that a wicket there. We'll come back to that, and we're gonna ask you a few questions regarding that. But yeah, like I said, he's very, very hard to face, and then you've got bowlers to support him as well. But just going back on that point that you made with Azahat and Fairvale Falcons, I actually had a chat with Azahat after the match, and I don't know if any of you would agree with me on this, but in my opinion, I feel like Fairvale Falcons let Azahat down. I feel like he was carrying the team a lot. For example, a prime example would be against Burnreef Tigers. I can't remember the exact score, but it was quite a low score. And they were down and out. But then Azahat superbly got 4 in 4. And so they actually went on to win that game. But again, against your own team, man, Fir Park Warriors, again, it was like a one-man show again with Azahat. He was bowling superbly, and unfortunately, there was no other bowler to back him up. I mean, yeah, we do talk about Sid being probably one of the best bowlers indoor, but I feel like this season he didn't just turn up, and he was getting played quite easily. He wasn't troubling a lot of batsmen. But yeah, I reckon if they had one more bowler that was on Azahat's level who can swing the ball with his pace as well, I reckon they would have got the top 4 quite comfortably. But it was literally a one-man show at Fairvale Falcons. So I think that was the downfall for them this season.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, in terms of talent, there's nothing lacking. Walker is a formidable force. If you look at his indoor record, the same can be said of Sid as well. He's, probably been leading wicket taker throughout the previous 3-4 years. But yeah, they just did not turn up, unfortunately. Adil, I think you had your hand raised. And Jawad, could I ask you to take your hand down if you're not making a point, because then I'll know when you are making a point. Adil, go ahead.
Following on from Jawad's point, I think he makes a good point saying that the First Park Warriors, yeah, their bowling, Fairvale bowling let them down. I think Azahat was a one-hand team, but I do feel more than their bowling, their fielding was definitely an issue this season. They did drop a whole load of catches, and that ultimately was their downfall. And in some of the games, they did chop and chip a lot. So Heather Rasool didn't play a lot of games, and Mather didn't play a lot of games. And I reckon if them two guys did start, it could have possibly been a different story for them this time.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, good point made there by Adil. And I think another important person that we forgot to mention, Ibi, I think your camera is upside down. Hope everything's okay. But another important innings that we missed was Heather. I think he scored about 50%, perhaps more than 50% of the runs. And what a magnificent performance that was. He's someone, when I actually came from Pakistan, I was 9 years old. I joined, it was called Fazil School then. And I still remember he was my first PE teacher. and how quickly time changes. He still remembers me because whenever I see him, he reminds me of that. So seeing this innings, it was really fantastic. I love watching Heather Rasul, the way he bats. The presence he has on the pitch, and there are some players like this. When they're on the pitch, you just know they're going to stay there for a very long time. They're going to be almost like a rock there. It's very hard to remove. There are some very few other players who kind of demand that kind of respect and presence on the pitch. Awais, please go ahead.
I just want to add on from your point, as you said, that Hyderabad, he's there as a rock, because obviously he's had a lot of experience in indoor as well. He's played many other leagues, and to say that he hadn't played for the past, I think it was 2-3 games for Vale, and he came in just for this game, I feel like he missed out. Vale missed out on having him in the team, because as you said, when he came in, I think they needed about 40 runs or something between that, with only 2 wickets remaining. But you could see he was calm all the way through his innings. He didn't let pressure get to him, and even his non-striker, he kept talking to him, just encouraging his players. So I think that's what they missed. They missed the calmness of him, and someone that would, alongside with Walker, who's had experience, just someone to help him out, and he adds that little more help with him in the field as well. Keeps him going with the fielding. So I think he's a key player for Vale.
Absolutely. I mean, you just need to look at the scorecard really to appreciate what Heather Rasul did for the team there. And I think if he was available for the other matches, no one can be certain, but I can say that there was a very, very high chance that Fairvale would be in that top 4 right now. Adil, go ahead, please.
I just wanted to add on to the point. I think Heather showed all of his experience in that game. And let's not forget the bowlers he was up against. One of that team that he made that score against was probably one of the strongest bowling units in that game, aside apart from Darnell. But yeah, just Heather Rasul showed his class on the day, and it was brilliant to watch. I had the pleasure of watching that and commentating on it.
I mean, if you look at this innings at more of a micro level, and this is something the youngsters can definitely take away as well. Just look, he didn't hit a single 6, and he scored 42 runs. 42 runs, that's almost like, a century almost in indoor, because you have to retire at 25. So he scored much of his runs running around, only hit 2 4s, and the last 4 he hit off the last ball when he needed just few runs to win. So that just shows the importance of running around, rotating your strike. There are some batsmen who come in onto the strike and they only have the 6 in their mind, that I'm going to either hit a boundary or get out. And I don't think that's the kind of mindset that you should bring to a league like this, where you have good competition of bowling. When you're playing against, your own friends in the park, etc., that might work. But when you're facing a bowling attack, such as Adil has just mentioned here, of Zubair, Shadab, Zishan, Ali, and obviously my humble self at the bottom, then you should address these bowlers with some respect, at least. So fantastic innings by Fairvale. Wish them the best in the coming tournaments. And we'll finish this particular match analysis with the point of Awais. Go ahead.
I mean, obviously, Firth, as you were saying about the bowlers, Firth Park did lose, but you've got to give credit to the skipper, Zubair, as you can see from the scorecard. What a tremendous bowling. He really get going. Of course, that beautiful delivery from Azhar, scientist, which cleaned him up. But he gave a fight. He brought the fight to Fairvale, cleaning up their main opening batsman, Mazhar. I think once he went, Fairvale's hopes went down. But obviously, Hyderabad came in, he played him with such ease, but you got to give him credit where it's due. He bowled brilliantly on that day.
Absolutely. And, I do feel at times I don't give enough credit to my own players when I'm doing my analysis, and especially Zubair at times. He has bowled brilliantly. And I think there are not that many players who are that passionate on the pitch with the way he jumps and screams after he picks up a wicket. And that's the kind of passion you want to see in players. So yeah, fantastic stuff there. And secondly, I also wanted to talk about the other important game that took place, and the danger man for Jawad Akhtar and Darnell Dynamites to be watching out for, Usman. If we have a look, sorry guys, I shouldn't have actually closed that, the other tab, because I was actually going to show you the statistics of Usman. I believe he is the leading run scorer at the moment. Yeah, he is. So, he is someone who probably hasn't even played all the games, like Awais and myself. And look at this. He's averaging 33, and he has scored a high score of 60. I mean, that's absolutely fantastic. It is very difficult to get 60 runs in an indoor league, There's so many different ways you can get out. I think this person is someone Donald should really be analyzing the way he plays. They need to do their homework and get him out as soon as possible. Otherwise, he can really take the game away. Jawad, I'll let you come in there.
On
Sorry,
mute,
Jawad, you're on mute.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can. Yeah. Go ahead.
Yeah. And so I had the honor of bowling to him last week, and he is a trick. He's a tricky batsman to get out. The way I look at it as he's just another batsman, another person standing in my way for me just to get them stumps. But no, credit where credit's due. If you just look now when he bats, if you just go back a bit, if you just play that back again, I'll just pick there, go back. There. Look how he stood. He covers all his stumps. So even if he misses the ball, which I think he did in I think it was Hamza's over or my over, he'll hit his leg. And we all know that you can run when you hit the leg as well. So it's just the stance as well, I think, suits him a lot. And I've had the honor with playing him from a young age. Me and Usman were at Shai Green together. And even with hard ball, that's the exact same way he bats. But obviously, you miss the ball there and he hits the pads and you're out. But he's just so confident with the bat that he would hit the ball. And he's definitely one to look at. And another person, Nisar, he's very tricky as well because he takes a fight to you. He doesn't back down. He would look to hit the ball very hard, every ball. I think this is another one. Let's have a look. See, again, he's just got that mindset of, you know what, I'm bringing the game to you. And sometimes as a bowler, it's difficult to set a plan out for that because you want to set a person up. Because I think that was only the second over. And sometimes in indoor, it does take a few overs to get into it. And then you think, you know what, I'm going to go for it. But honestly, Usman and Sarr have got that mentality where, you know what, you bowl me where I want you to bowl. You're not bowling to me where you want to bowl. You're bowling where I want to bowl. And they'll take the game to you. And I mean, that would be, personally, I think that's the best opening batters in the league with Nisar and Usman because they're so consistent as well. They're just going to be a very, very, they're going to be the ones to watch, to be honest with you. And I know that we've got them in the semi-final and by all means, I know they finished fourth, but I genuinely believe that they have what it takes to win the whole tournament. So that's why I'm not going to take nothing lightly and then hopefully progress into the final myself.
Yeah, no, fantastic. I'm glad to hear, and I can tell from the way you're describing these batsmen that you have done your homework, and you're probably relaying that to the rest of your team as well. And that's what we like to see: commitment from all the players, analyzing the play of others, giving them due respect. And when you give due respect in cricket, you're more likely than not rewarded. So fantastic. I hope you guys also saw the notification. Unfortunately, I don't have Zoom Premium, so we only have 7 more minutes. Unfortunately, before the meeting ends, so we need to get through the other points, the key points. And I think firstly, since we've mentioned the leading batsman, it's important to also mention the leading bowling records as well. We've already discussed the talent of Asif, his brilliance, Azahad and Jawad. You've been mentioned quite thoroughly in the previous few podcasts. But I wanted to actually bring up the other bowlers who perhaps haven't been given as much, talk or credit at the moment, and that's Zishan and Rizwan. Because if you look at the terms of the wicket columns, there's not too much of a difference between the top 5. But yeah, Rizwan, what a fantastic talent at that young age, coming into this tournament, and intimidating these people who are, some of them, twice his age. And he's coming in, he's bowling at some really good pace, good line and length, and consistently giving confidence to his captain in the early stages by picking up wickets. And that's exactly the kind of thing we would like to see in our youngsters, taking the lead, putting the pressure on the batsman and not getting under pressure. Because when I was at that age, I couldn't even dream of dominating batsmen of the caliber that we have in this league. So fantastic stuff to Rizwan. We give him a shout out, and I think we will all be looking forward to treating him actually if he ends up anywhere in the top 3. So yeah, go ahead, Ibi. Sorry, I keep
Yeah, I'm
confusing you
just
with
conscious
Adil.
of time. Yeah, no, hi guys. Yeah, I'm just conscious of time. The fact that you said that we've only got a few minutes, I just want to address a couple of points I've got here written down. Yeah, so you mentioned the fact that Rizwan, obviously, he's burst onto the scene. He's taken, a few poles almost every single game. He's contributed with the ball. His fielding's pretty, is pretty decent as well. I just want to say, going into the semi-final and of course the final, we're going to be using brand new, cricket balls, it's like wind balls. It's going to be, I think it's going to come down to who manages pressure and who manages their nerves best. We can all speak about the talents that all these amazing players have, but again, when you add that element of the added pressure of a semi-final and a final, I'm sure we've seen it on our TV screens where these big teams, they choke or they don't really perform as well. I think that's going to be very interesting to see who's able to hold their nerve, who's able to set a plan and stick to it, and not panic. So I'm really looking forward to this.
Yeah, I mean, Ibi, you're absolutely right. A lot of the times we come here, we discuss the talents of players. He bowls fast, he bowls swing, and this guy, he's got good rate of swinging the bat. He's got power, but we don't look at the psychological element of everything. When you go there, doesn't matter how good you are, if your mind is not in the right place, you're probably going to end up edging the ball and walking back to the bench as soon as as fast as you've come onto the wicket. So I think, especially in the semi-final and final, more than any other game, the psychological impact will be absolutely huge, as Ibrahim will mention. And this is the job of the captains. When you have youngsters in your team, or there are some individuals who are susceptible to pressure, you need to reassure them continuously, even when you are having those moments in the mid overs when perhaps things are not going according to plan. Watch the finals of the other teams, how they have performed, and perhaps come to pressure the captains haven't, given the reassurance to the bowlers, and try not to repeat that mistake. And you will see that you will reap fruits if you use that approach. So best of luck, to the teams and the players going ahead to the final. There's a high chance that we're going to have potentially a new winner this year around. Burngreave Tigers are the only ones who have won the cup before. The other teams haven't won, so 75% chance. I said 50%, but Firth Park actually they didn't win the cup. They won the other trophy. So Bear corrected me on that. So yeah, really exciting weekend. Yeah, book your weekend out, guys. But yeah, I think we've got 2 minutes left now. Awais, I'll let you make the final point before we conclude this session.
Okay, so just before we finish the podcast and you go on to your final point, I just want to ask a question to the panel that's here today. Just obviously we've been there, we've seen everything. It's final week now. Obviously the pressure, everything. I just want to know from each and every one of you, who do you think is going to win the tournament? Just very quickly.
I think we'll go from, I don't know if you can see on your screen, so we'll go from right to left. So we'll start with Ibrahim. We'll start with you. And
all right. Yeah, no. Well, look, I think obviously coming from a Firth Park Warriors team player, look, I really want my team to do well. I'd like for them to go all the way and win it. But to be honest, I don't believe it's going to be as straightforward as that. For everyone, there's a lot of pressure. There's a lot of factors involved. There's some really amazing teams that are going to turn up to the party here. Obviously, Firth Park Warriors, I wish them all the best. But I wouldn't discount anyone at all. So it's going to be good. It's going to be exciting. It's going to be fun.
All right, we'll have Jawad next.
I mean, obviously, being Donald captain, I would wish that Donald go all the way this year. But like I said, Firth Park Warriors, wow, they've got an amazing team. They've got such a strong team. And it's not necessarily about individuals. It's how you work well as a team. You all know your roles. And I think that's what makes your team work perfectly. And like I said, Burngreave Tigers, they've been there, they've done it, they've conquered it. So they've got that experience.
Mhm.
And then, like I said, Pedro Panthers just underdogs. They're dark horses.
Mhm.
They're just creeping in. No one talked about them the whole season. I don't think not once. No one talked about them, and all of a sudden they're in the top 4. And
Yep.
all their players are finding form at the right time. Jawad Salim, Nisar, Usman, they're finding form at the right time. So who knows? But from a Darnold, being the Darnold captain, I'm going to say Darnold. And I think the advantage that we do have is that we've got 2 or 3 left-arm bowlers, which, if you ask any cricketer, what's the worst fear in a batsman's mind? It's a left-arm bowler. So
All right,
hopefully...
Thank you very much. Awais and Adil, you guys have 20 seconds each. I don't want the call to end before you got your point. So go ahead, Awais first.
Okay, I'm quick. Keep it very quick. I feel like Donald's gonna win because the way they've played, they're the only team that I've seen get out the skill teams, like hammer them. And with a new ball, as Jawad said, 3 left-handers dangerous. So my vote's going towards Donald Dynamites to win the tournament.
And Adil.
Darnold, Burnley, final. Darnold to win the tournament.
And we have, I think, 10 seconds left. So I think supporting my own team, Firth Park versus Darnold final. And I pray I will be leading 2-0 that Firth Park win. All right, guys, thank you very much for joining today. It's truly been
Thank
a
you,
pleasure.
guys.
All right, guys, take care.
Bye-bye.
All right,
Yeah,
See ya.
bye.
easy.